Okay, here we are. Siege, what's happening, man? Glad you had some time to hop on with us as we look for things to do to occupy our time. More importantly, occupy the DFS industry's time by conducting some interviews, man. So you're actually the first guest since I've decided to do this. So appreciate you finding the time. Without sports, I would think you have a lot of it. I do, but welcome, man.
I got more of it than I know what to do with.
So we were just talking a little bit before we started recording, and I know you're down in St. Louis, and I know the quarantine doesn't seem to be affecting you terribly bad in your area. Like, is it different at all? Like, are you seeing people wearing masks and all that shit when you go to stores, or?
That would imply that I leave the apartment. I think I've left. Let's see. I've left twice. I've lost my mind, and I went to CVS at like 4 in the morning because I just had to get out, and I wore a mask. And there was one person in there, and they were wearing a mask too. Let's see. And then I've got takeout twice, and I've worn a mask both times. And obviously, the people doing it were wearing masks. So, I mean, it hasn't been that bad, but I mean, I'm trying to stay in the apartment like as much as possible.
That's the one positive I'll say about people who are like and who are able to invest all their time into the DFS industry, whether it's on the content end or playing or whatever, is staying at home is not something that's new for a lot of us, right? Like that's just like what's new is finding new things to do with that time. That's what's new. Normally, we have statistics. Twitter, you can go just debate people on random sports statistics. Anything. When sports is going on, there are plenty of things for us to do. But when you take sports away and then say we can't leave the house, it's like a whole new test to see what kind of person you are. Like, what kind of person would you be if it wasn't for sports? It makes you wonder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's been rough. I mean, like the not having sports, the not going to a bar and watching baseball, and it's like the end of April. It's like, what is going on? Like, my brain is just like, baseball season. Where's baseball?
Oh, dude,
Like, oh, it's awful.
we missed out on so many, like just so many, like so many great things. The NBA playoffs, finals, even like shout out to the NHL people, man. People don't talk about. I'm not a huge NHL guy, but I understand the people that love it love it. They love the shit out of it, and then they don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on. Like you said, man, we should be hanging out watching baseball at this point. Coming off of, I mean,
Ugh.
the NBA playoffs, March Madness. March Madness never happened. How do you explain this to your kids one day?
It was awful. I mean, I was supposed to be in Vegas, and I was super stubborn till like the last minute. I was like, oh, I can get everything now for 60% cheaper, and so I was like rebooking everything for 60% cheaper, and like I was like, oh, I'm gonna go unless like the world shuts down. And by the time I was supposed to leave, like Vegas was shut down.
Oh shit.
This was like Thursday, and by like Tuesday, it was just like, oh, the whole world shut down. It's like, well, that escalated quick.
Oh, it's wild, man. I know, like my family. I'm out in Jersey. My family lives in. My parents live in California, and in February, it was like a week before my wife's birthday, like the middle of February. We had a trip to San Diego, and at that time, the Corona stuff was already kind of thing, and it was really in California. And I was like, okay, well, it seems kind of stupid that that's the state that has the cases, and we're traveling of all places there. But then, like once we did it, it wasn't a big deal. There wasn't a lot of people wearing masks. It was just kind of like whatever. We went there, stayed there for a week, came back, and it wasn't anything. And as soon as we got back, it's like all hell broke loose. All hell broke loose. In my business, the way that I contribute to me and my wife's household is Wise Take is based off DFS content and everything like that. And no sports. It's just like everything's just like a part, bro. It was the worst experience. Like the Rudy Gobert night. I had 100% Tony Bradley, so obviously this means nothing now. But at that night, just to explain to you the sequence of events that happened that occurred to me that day, I'm sitting there. I got Tony Bradley. I'm in the car. They're saying they don't know for sure if Rudy Gobert's out. So I pull over. I got a brand new dog. He's in my car. He's crying. He's yakking everywhere because he's getting car sick. I'm pulling over. I'm just a terrible dog parent. I'm pulling over because I got to get this swap on. I make the swap. Take Tony Bradley out. No. Gobert is out. Okay. Put Tony Bradley in. Get to where I'm going. Boom. Jazz game is delayed. And I'm just like stunned. And then one after another. So I realized my DFS night is fucked. Okay, I've accepted that. Life goes on. Move on to tomorrow. Then all of a sudden that night it gets worse. Oh, the rest of the games are paused to further notice. Next thing you know, NBA shut down. And it's just everything from there. Okay, well, we still got NHL. NHL shut down. And like all the guys stepping up. The golf guys are like, we got this. We'll step it up. Golf shut down. It was just a wild. And like, listen, man, like I obviously like there are some things that are bigger than sports bigger than DFS and all this kind of stuff, but just like after like the fifth thing, I was like, I didn't even get mad anymore. I was like, okay, some shit's going down. Just like, all right, man, these motherfuckers ain't shutting down unless there's some shit going down. But that was my experience.
Yeah, I had just written off the NBA because it just felt like it was inevitable that something was going to happen.
Right.
So like I just hadn't played that week at all. I was just like, I'm not going to deal with the day there. It's just like you kind of could just tell the madness was coming, and it's just like I'm just gonna peace out. Like it's March NBA. I don't need it this badly.
No, I feel you.
And I had just come back from spring training though, so like my brain was just like this was like mid March. I had just come back from Florida. I had done the DFS Open, like the golf event, like end of February, early March. And like I had people going like, "You're really gonna travel?" And I was just like, "It's not that bad. It's not that bad. I'll be fine." And then like as soon as I got back, I got super sick. Like super sick. Like
No
I was
shit.
out of it was like walking mono.
What?
Like I thought it was the coronavirus. Like so like
Holy
for me
shit.
it worked out. So for me it worked out great because like right as everyone was still doing shit in the beginning of March and like getting each other sick, I was like deathly sick in my bed, like just not moving.
Holy
So
fuck.
like it was hard for me to like I'm not sure like there's like a 2% chance I got corona. Like I'm praying I got corona. I want to be done with it, right? So like I'm hoping when they have an antibody test, they're like actually that was corona, and it's like oh thank God. But then again, it's just like it's like oh great, I locked myself up for 3 months after I already had coronavirus and couldn't have gotten it. Great, good job, good effort. So it's kind of like on one end, it's like I kind of like to have it, but on the other hand, I really don't want to have it. So I don't know, well, but yeah, it was kind of like a blessing in disguise to get super sick right after that. So, but yeah, like as I'm sick, I'm like, you idiot! Like you traveled and you got corona. Good job, good effort.
Holy fuck, man! You probably felt
But it
at
was
that
so much
moment.
fun. I was probably,
At that moment, you probably felt so fucking dumb. Really? So you went to the DFS Open, which I'm going to ask you about. We'll talk about that a little bit. And then you came back, and then all of a sudden you were like deathly ill. Like you were like
yeah,
just done.
done. Like solid week and a half. Like the first 3 nights were brutal. Like just like everything in the like just it was awful. Like just bad. I was just like, oh my god, I got corona. Like, and then I looked at the symptoms more, and it's like, well, you got a runny nose, you don't have corona, but maybe I'm part of like the 1% of cases. I'm praying.
That's wild.
Like
Bro.
I still want to have had it already. So it's like, all right, like the antibody test comes out, you get the antibody test. Oh, boom, you had corona. It's like, all right, great. Now I can go back to like baseball games.
Man, dude, I get that mentality, but then like I heard some other shit, and like this is nothing confirmed. This is just a guy speculating on like because we don't know what it is. He was talking about because like I guess in China there were some people who had it and then they tested and it said they didn't have it anymore and they went back and got it again somehow and it was like worse when they got it the second time. So like they don't know for sure. They're pretty sure. They're telling everybody they're pretty sure, like 98% sure that if you get the antibodies you're good. But then there's like they're not positive because China was withholding all this information and shit.
I'm just until another country tells me that happened. Like I'm not gonna worry about it. Like I don't trust China.
They were saying like because we don't know anything about it, like imagine they were saying like what if it's like herpes where it just comes and goes like throughout your life. It's just in you, it lives there, and just randomly it's like boom, I'm back. You know what I'm saying? Until eventually you're older and it just like takes you.
Yeah, but if I already had it once, then like there's nothing I can do about that either.
You're moving on, man. No, I feel you. I feel you. So real quick before I get into asking you to drilling you with questions, talk to me a little about the DFS Open, man. I saw a little bit of that, but obviously I was at that point I was already going into like damage control, so I wasn't even paying attention to Twitter or nothing. What was that whole thing about?
So it was basically a charity golf event, like a golf scramble. So a bunch of people just went down to Florida. It was this week of the Honda Open. So we went, did a golf scramble, and then on Sunday, a bunch of us got like some really nice passes. Went to the Honda, all you can eat, drink seats. So by 17, so it was awesome. Had a ton of fun.
That's what's up, man. At least you got that shit in before all this stuff happened.
Yeah, like now it's just like now I'm like, thank God I went on vacation. Like, you imagine if you hadn't been on a vacation and then
Oh yeah.
like you were then it's like
Oh yeah, dude. It's like that. If you did have the Rona, for that moment, not knowing, how bad coronavirus is, not that we do now, but not knowing, depending on how good the time was, I think would determine if I was I don't give a fuck. It is what it is. I can go out like this. Like I went out with a bang, had a blast. It's all good. Or if, I'm seriously regretting the trip. I think at that point, because you were sick, you may have been able to really like, was that trip worth it at that moment? Like now it is because you're fine.
No.
Okay.
No.
So it was good, but it wasn't, it wasn't like,
No, it wasn't. It was in the moment when I was just like, oh my God, you idiot. You got corona. You're the one that's going to bring it to St. Louis. You're the idiot.
You're the one.
Good job.
You're the one.
Good effort.
You're the one that's going to bring it to St. Louis. You're the one.
I was just like, good God, what a dumb. Well, I was just like, I was thinking, I was like, imagine like if the CDC calls you, it's like, all right, where have you been the last 2 weeks? I'm like, oh boy, you guys are gonna hate me. Let's see. We went to like pick like every public gathering that you could have possibly have gone to in the last 2 weeks, and like that was May. It's like, yeah, have fun with that.
Oh jeez, yep. They're gonna slap that tracker app on you, bro. They're gonna slap that tracker.
Yeah, it was like, oh boy. Yeah.
Oh, man.
But it's pretty sure I didn't have it, so yeah. Not the end of the world.
Knock on wood for, knock on wood. We joke because that's all we can do, but, With that said, let's get into you a little bit, C. So, I obviously I was able to do a show with you once. You came on one of our live streams or one of our podcasts, I remember. I produced that show. I didn't actually on it with you, but... so I got to talk to you a little bit. You are boys with our boy Paulie, who's my dude. So, that's the connection there. So between connecting some dots, but I want to hear it from you. I want to kind of hear the Seige story and how you kind of got into the industry, how you got into playing DFS, all that stuff. So let's start at the very beginning. First of all, before you got into DFS, what were you doing?
I was in law school.
No shit. Where'd you go to law school?
St. Louis. I went for health law.
Oh, health law.
And they're number one in health law. So that's what I went for. Yeah, so I was in law school.
No shit.
Taking on tons and tons of debt. Yay!
That's wild, bro. It's right. That's wild. And what was law school like for the Seige?
It was good. I mean, if you guys thought drinking in college was a thing, law school was a whole different beast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Happy hours basically every day of the week. It was. I mean, you had to work, but there was definitely time for networking for sure. It was fun.
Yeah. How long is law school? What is that? Another 4 years?
3.
3 years?
3. Thank God. Yeah, 3.
No, and you
really 2.5 by the second semester of the third year. It's really just kind of going through the motions.
Yeah. And so what is it? It's 3 years and you take the bar exam. Is that like that's the final?
Yeah, basically. So yeah, you like you're supposed to spend your summer studying for the bar. Not exactly what I did. Yeah. I did not have many friends. By the time the bar results came out, I'm pretty sure about 85% of my class was hoping I failed.
Ooh, why did they like you, bro? Hard to imagine.
Because I went to Vegas for 5 weeks to play the WSOP.
To play what?
Instead of studying for the bar.
Oh.
I played so I went and played like a month and change in poker. Just because I knew personally for me, my brain just needed a reset, right? 3 years of studying nonstop and then 4 years of school before that. I needed a reset before I started cramming for the bar. Worked for me. I mean, so I had done some stuff in the second half of the year too. I'd done some bar prep, like knowing that I was going to do this. But yeah, people were like, what? You're not studying like every day and being miserable? I was just like, I will come like July 1.
So what?
So it was a good decision. It worked for me. And then I just kind of just crammed for 3 weeks, 12 hours a day and just kind of, grindstoned it out. But for some people, that they were just like not happy.
What?
Just straight up not happy.
So these are other people at the school were unhappy that. Yeah,
like just some people who are like, if I spent like 8 weeks in hell, like this guy shouldn't be able to get away with it in 3.
Oh man, that dude's a hater. That sounds like some dude's hating, man.
I don't blame him. Like if I had been miserable an entire summer studying, and it's just like, I was about to lose my mind too. I was just like, man, if you fail, like everyone's gonna get the last laugh. And then, like, right as I was losing my mind at 3 p.m., the results got leaked. And my buddy's like, have you seen the leaked results with a smiley face? And I was like, I swear to God, if I didn't pass and you just gave me a smiley face, I might come find you. And then he sent me the results, and I was on it, and I had passed. And then of course, you're like, well, are these real? Are they fake? Are you getting pranked? And then, like, you had to wait for the 2 hours. But the leaked list was good. So, yeah, that was a day, though.
That's wild, man. I've always hated school. I mean, I was always like my grandmother would always say, or a doctor or a lawyer. And I was, man, fuck that, man. I'm gonna be a baseball player, man. Fuck no, fuck that. I'm gonna be a pro wrestler. And I'm gonna do just the thought of it from a young age. The thought of it. I'm like, nah, no. You know what? That's a lot of schooling. But you know what? I'll say this. That's real discipline. I got a friend right now who finished med school, I think, last year. I'm pretty sure med school. He's like an acupuncture-ish doctor. It's in his family and all that kind of stuff. But discipline, man. Discipline. Because I'll talk to people, like even my wife she's taking online courses right now while she works full time to get a master's degree. And I take one look at that shit. I just can't, man. I just can't. At what point in your life did you have it in your head that, like, yeah, I'm going to go to law school and I'm going to, do the dirty with the law?
Probably summer heading. So I was trying to finish a double at Notre Dame, a double major. I ended up finishing like one class short because I suck at math.
You went to Notre Dame for your what do you call it?
Yeah, undergrad. So probably the summer between my 4th and 5th year, I was like, I probably should go do this. Like, I want to go do DUI defense. I want to go do patent law. I want to do health law. Like, this is something I should probably do. So it was a pretty late decision. It wasn't like I was always going to do it. Like, if I had not done the double, I probably would have gone and worked like third shift at Miller Coors. But I don't know. I third shift for me was just like, I don't know if I want to give up 5 years of my life just like working through the night. Not sure that's my cup of tea.
Oh shit.
So that's when I kind of like rebooted and changed my mind.
So wait a minute. So that was the dilemmas right there. Either you're done with school and now you go right to work, and you had a specific, like, you knew what that was going to be, or it was you go to law school.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
And then I still had to finish my double. At that point, like, I could have abandoned the double, but I was just like, we should finish the double. And honestly, like, I had like one engineering class left, I think, and so like the rest were poli-sci. So I got to understand how the other half lived. Like, during college, I'm like, oh, this is why you guys can drink on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Mondays. Like, you don't have any real work to do. Yeah, it was kind of like a mini victory lap year, but not really.
The plotting, I like it.
It was fun. I'll say that. I now understood why people were like, I'm gonna major in English. Well, yeah, because you don't have to do anything.
So at what point did you get into DFS?
So as I was waiting for bar results. So you take the test in July, you get the results in end of September. So I had nothing better to do. So I was just playing DFS because, well, that's what I kind of just did, right? Until, you pass the bar.
How did you discover it at that time? Was it on TV with the...
I think it just was like an ad. Like, I don't think it was anything special. Maybe a buddy was just like, hey, you should check this out. Like, I had just come back from Colorado. I'd gone back to Colorado. Actually, probably not my story to tell. But I had been in Colorado. Let's just say that I was out there with a DFS player now who's in the industry, playing some poker out by my buddy's got a cabin out there. It was outside of Denver. It was fantastic. Just away from people. It was perfect. It was exactly what I needed. But I came back and my buddy's like, hey, you should check this out. It's called DraftKings. Like, you just do it based on sports. And I was just like, okay. And then like September, and maybe it was October, like, just banked. It was like solid 5 figures, plus like their online final. This is before they had live finals, and then like a ticket to their online final. So, and then I was like, oh, this is easy. No, you were just a fish that hit, dummy. It was not easy. So yeah, I banked early, and I was like, well, I got nothing better to do. And then I got hot, and I was just like, well, why would I go be a lawyer when this is making me more money?
That's what I kind of. That's kind of what I was thinking. I had assumed, because it's hard to imagine, like, if you were in the full swing of like being a lawyer at that time, like you're done with school, you're in a full swing, like that maybe there would be like some kind of conflict. Because being a lawyer, I mean, a lot of it, like from what I've seen of other attorneys, obviously there's several different types of lawyers, and you were in health, correct?
Yeah. I was probably going to do DUI defense by this point. Like, that was probably where I was going to go.
No shit. Getting people out of DUIs, no doubt. But so I kind of figured like in the midst of doing that, like if you're like a hustle lawyer and you're really grinding and busting your ass, like maybe you wouldn't have a ton of time to do DFS. But then again, there are things I think about, and like I mean, like there's so many times where like I've been in an interaction with lawyers and like past jobs and things like that, and like so many times I'll be like, hey man, you want to grab a beer? And I'm like, dude, I gotta work. And like, oh yeah, me too. What do you mean? What do you mean you too? You know what I mean? Like, you just said you were gonna go to the bar. Yeah. Well, they can do that, right? Because they can just kind of. It's a meeting. It's a It's kind of like going into business to a certain degree. So I was thinking that you have had to have discovered it kind of right before that, like where you had some kind of time. We were working on kind of your own schedule, I would think, right?
Yeah, that's basically what happened. It just kind of just popped like right at the right time, right when I had nothing but time. So, and then it worked out nicely because I was just, as I was like, well, maybe I should still get a law job, and I was looking at different offers and kind of interviewing, and then I just kind of kept getting hot, and I was kind of like, this is stupid. Like taking a pay decrease to work way longer. I was just like, well, let's just see how long this can go.
Right. So what's the next step? So at this point, you're playing DFS. You made it to a live final already at this point. And like that's when the industry, like the marketing was kind of through the roof, right? They were starting to dump in ads like crazy. We couldn't go anywhere without seeing FanDuel or DraftKings. So like with that said, there's a lot of people who have played fantasy sports in general and kind of understand the concept. And then there's a ton of people who have no idea what it is. They're just dying to bet on sports, but they don't want to go through the legal bookie. And now they're seeing on TV that there's like a way they can attempt to somewhat gamble on sports without actually, doing it illegally. And so you have a nice little atmosphere of a few season players, many of them from the poker world, from what I see. And you're a poker guy, obviously, so another correlation. There seems to be a real strong correlation there, right, between the poker and DFS guys.
I mean, I would not consider myself a poker guy.
No.
I was just kind of looking.
You're just a guy who played poker.
Yeah, I would not. I was definitely not a pro. Yeah. Right. I definitely like it was like small potatoes. Like I was playing like $150 buy-ins. I wasn't exactly.
But you like poker though, right? Like you've.
Yeah, I love it. Like, I love it. Yeah.
That's what I mean. To me, I'm not even talking about the correlation between pro DFS players and pro poker players. I'm just talking about the correlation between people who love poker and people who love daily fantasy sports. And I guess they just appreciate the risk factor involved, the calculated risk portion of it. I'm not a poker person. I'm a gambler. So I'm a sports guy and a gambler. That's what kind of lured me in. I'm not like a, numbers dude or, I force myself to do what I have to do. And I've learned and taught myself things that make me uncomfortable. But there seems to be a strong correlation between, I talked about this with Bobby Fye and a few other people, between poker players, DFS. It's like, they all go hand in hand. And I guess it all ties into the gambling. I'm just too impatient for poker, bro. Like, I'll sit there, win a few hands, and I'm like, all right, I should be like, this game should be over, and I should be the winner soon, right? And I find out, no, this shit just started. You know what I'm saying? You need patience, right? You need patience for that shit.
Yeah, I definitely just got to just be able to just chill.
Bro, at a certain point, I'm looking at the dude across from me, and I'm just like, I'm all in this motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm pushing him in. I got to get up, man. I got to walk around. Yeah. And I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. But back then, I got to get up, stretch my legs, get some fresh air of nicotine. Okay, so at that point, so like at what point, so you have some success early on. Obviously, as you go on, the field gets a little sharper, so you have to keep up to a degree. You start meeting other people who have also had success in the industry. How about that? Who are some of the first like people that you met through the industry? And kind of like, okay, this is new and this is a thing. Because remember, it's very different back then. It was new. So a lot of people like DraftKings, from what I understand, they were almost like, not like, I don't want to say hiring, but they're making people brand ambassadors. Because these people are going to help, they understand the game. And they're going to help push the game to other people. They have like, DFS seminars. And like all different kinds of shit they used to do.
Yeah, so my story is a little different. So like I was still trying to figure it out. I'd say I started in the fall of, graduated law school in 2014. So 2015, I was still kind of just on my own, kind of just playing it out, learning it. Worked for Smiz's boot camp, writing articles for baseball, football, and basketball that year. And then I got hot in that fall. Like I got super hot. Like I crushed college football. I just opening day college football that Thursday night. Just won everything other than the DraftKings final seat. I finished second, third, and fourth in the queue with a zero. Guy missed the bus and got suspended. and I lost like the queue by like 1 point.
Damn.
And it came out after kickoff, obviously. Otherwise, I would have, probably should have late swapped as it was, right? But there were other games going. I didn't know exactly which team was going to be the best. But I still I won like the top like the $200 tournament with a 0. Like that's how good the team was. The teams were like that's how good the core was. It was just absolutely loaded. And then just got hot from there. Just kept crushing college football. Like I shipped the FanDuel seats. Fantasy Aces was around back then. Shipped a seat to that final. And it just got hot. And then I parlayed that into it. As I was at the college football final, I won a seat into the DK NFL final. And then the Aces NFL final. Like I just got hot for like 3 months there. And then had a really good success. I won the college football final. Really stacked field too on Aces. And then took second in the football final a month later. And then had a good run in the DK final too. I missed like the first 3 days of Christmas vacation at the DK final because it was one of the most awkward things I had to do. So it was the NFL final was that Sunday. Finished second. I have a flight from LA to Boston on Monday. And I'm supposed to go to the Celtics game on Tuesday with DraftKings. They were playing, I want to say the Cavs. I think it was Celtics Cavs. And so I was flying cross country to go home, and then we were flying down to Florida like end of the week for Christmas vacation. But I was in the lead for a DK seat. I had played 2 teams in the $5,300 queue because I was feeling it. I was in a heat check moment, and I think I got a ticket and something. And I was in a spot. It was like one of those mega queues. You win 5 seats. And I basically just had to avoid the Eli to Odell Beckham stack going off. And I had a redraw with Eli to Odell Beckham too. That was in pretty good shape. The final was that Saturday in San Diego. So I'm there Monday morning going, should I take this flight to Boston? Right? Because if I fly to Boston on Monday and then have to fly back to San Diego on Wednesday, I'm going to like literally get sick and kill myself. But if you cancel the flight and then you don't get the seat, you look like the biggest buffoon ever. So I had no idea what to do. End up taking the flight. I'm driving to the airport. And I'm like, this is a mistake. Like I should just get a hotel room. I decided to take the flight. I had checked in for the flight and still not my mind up that I was taking the flight. I had to get on the flight. I land. I get home. Turn on Monday Night Football, and I think I was a guest on the RG Sweat Show. And I'm literally talking to Dean, and I'm like, all I gotta do is fade Eli to Odell, and right as I say that, Eli hits Odell for a 95-yard bomb. It was against the Dolphins. Like that long 95-yard bomb you see in all the highlight reels. And I was just like, that cost me the seat. Well, it hadn't, because it put my other team that had the redraw, it had given Odell and Eli the bonus. And so the bonus points jumped me back. So like the teams had just like flipped.
Oh, wow.
So then I had the seat. I got the seat, and I was just like, and there was like no way for it to lose the seat. And I'm starting to think, I have to fly to San Diego on Wednesday. And so I'm like, Dean, I gotta go. I gotta book a flight to San Diego.
Wow.
And so like it was like one of those moments like I was super happy because like that was the one that was like $5 million to first.
Yeah.
So like that was like, or what I think it was $5 million. So it was like that was a good final to get into.
Yeah.
But I already knew. I was just like, there's no chance I'm not. Like I just raged all weekend. I was going to the DK basketball game on Tuesday. I was flying to see it. I was like, there's no chance I don't get. And sure enough, I got super sick. Like as soon as I landed in San Diego, I was just like, I mean, it made sense. I'd been flying like 14 out of the prior 48 hours. Like it was just no chance that I wasn't going to get sick. But it was still an awesome final.
Oh, dude.
Sorry, I'm rambling.
No. It's cool.
And then so like I kind of want to explain how hot I got because it kind of makes the rest of the story make sense. So then I fly from San Diego after that weekend. I took like 20th because I somehow forgot it was James Jones' revenge, and I took the other Oakland receiver like a fish, or the other Green Bay receiver like a fish. And that was the difference. AP got hurt too. I finished like 20th, I think, and like the top 10 moved on. So I fly to Orlando. They start NBA queues the day before Christmas. I win the FanDuel queue the day before Christmas, get absolutely blasted on Christmas, blasted, and then the day after Christmas, I have one seat locked up, and then the other seat. It's the day after Christmas. Cleveland's playing Portland. CJ McCollum was starting for I don't know who, and they were up like 30 points, like just up 30 points, and the other guy had McCollum's backup. I don't even remember who it was. I want to say Tim Frazier. That's wrong, but it was some bad player, and I was like, well, he's going to play the whole fourth quarter. Whatever. There's no chance I get there. And someone goes, tell you what, like I'll swap you +1s for the final and the FSTA. The person's no longer in the industry, but so I'll swap you +1s. Like if you win, you can be my plus. You can come down and stay in my suite at the FSTA. If you happen to win the seat, like I get to be your +1 at the live final in San Diego. And I was like, or in LA, I was like, okay, sold. The backup plays the first 6 minutes, puts up -2 points, and then they bring McCollum back up like 35. Win both seats, maxed out in 3 days. That was back when it was 3 entry max. So I had maxed out of the FanDuel final in 3 days.
Damn, man.
Yeah, I was just hot. Like it was just 3 months of just like.
And what do you
everything?
What do you attribute that to? You were just in a rhythm? Was it like a certain
hot streak? Yeah, just rhythm, hot streak, confidence.
Yeah.
Like you seen the ball well. I don't know. That's my metaphor. Just like everything I like, just was seeing it right, and things were just going my way. Yeah, super hot. So, anyways, that person still let me come with them to the FSTA conference, and that's how I met everyone, like the industry people, for the first time.
I see. It does make sense. You always see it. What is it like Hefe and even Tommy G and these other dudes? Like, it's really like a lot of these guys. Maybe I'm not saying that like they didn't do other things or they don't have personalities that got them followings or whatever. But essentially, it was really one hot streak that kind of gave them that base. Right, like Hefe last year, I think it was in baseball, just went on a freak train, like hot streak. Tommy G, I think the summer before that, or was it 2 summers before that, just when Guru really kind of went going and blasting off, just hot streaks, just out the ass, and like you've seen it's going on, and like regular DFS players know any gambler has those kind of streaks. It's just a matter of how much damage you could do in those streaks compared to like how much damage you can withstand when the cold streak comes. That it typically follows up with it. And the back and forth, but it's pretty crazy. Like would you say at that time, would you attribute any of like the success based off the contest or like based off what you said? You said that back at that time it was 3 entry max. Were there any like would you consider it to be easier or harder to do what you did back then compared to now?
Well, it was the live final had 3 entry maxes, right? So it was just like you could only win 3 seats at the final. So like honestly, it was after that they changed the rule and it turned into 5.
Right.
Was after that. I mean, I understand if you don't get my qualifier money a whole season, that would be pretty devastating. So I can understand that.
That's really what it is, right, man? A lot of people just don't have the bankroll to burn on them kind of things, man.
Yeah, it was, at that point, I was just fire, right? But it was really nice to just have a season. Shit. I mean, you just know that you're going to be in massive profit, even if you min cash 3 times. You're just like, I mean, I'm going to be up like 50 G's on this file no matter what happens. Like, I bricked like 2 queues. It was on Christmas, like 2 or 3 queues. Like, maybe I was down like a 500 or 1,000, like, but I was up like in the queues. It was just like, massive profit. It was incredible.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I love finals. So like, I try to get into any of them I can. The experiences are so much fun.
Yeah, dude.
We can get into that if you want.
I was just gonna say, you've been to a ton of them, man. You've been to a ton of finals, whether it be consulting others to help them out in their first time qualifying or whatever the case may be, or you personally qualifying, or obviously you make a lot of friends in the industry just being here for so long. People and just like, yeah, man, I got a +1, come down, hang out. You've been to a ton for like several different companies that have gone out of business, companies that are still in business, all different kinds of things, man. So I want to hear a little bit about these. I don't really like when I play, like I'm too stingy, bro. Like I'm pretty cheap. Like when I get things personally, like if I'm gonna get something, if I'm gonna get a watch, I'm gonna get a nice watch. I want one nice watch. I don't need 3 or 4 mediocre shits. I want one nice thing. That's just kind of how person I am. But at the same time, like I'm like somewhat risk adverse, and to where like I'll take 500 and like, yeah, let's go, drop 500, no problem. But anything more than that 500, and I will feel sick if I lose 501 when I intended to lose 500. I'll feel sick about that $1. I'm just a sick person up here. With that said, qualifiers have been kind of your thing. Talk to me about them, man. Like, what is it about the experience? And then I don't know, I'll ask you a couple more questions. But what is it? What is it about the live final? Walk the listeners through like a typical live final. What happens there?
Well, let me just start with why.
Yeah.
Right? Why bother?
Let's do it.
Right?
Let's do it.
It's because it's a rake-free event, and you're going to have 20 to 25% of the field that's never been at one of these before. And guess what? There's a lot of money on the line. And you know what's going to happen? The pressure gets to you. I can't tell you how many times I've as you mentioned, I've advised people in their first live final, and I've gone, I'm telling you, like, it might hit an hour before, it might hit 30 minutes before, it might hit 10 minutes before. The gut in your, like, the pit in your stomach will hit, and you just have to be ready for it, right? You just have. And by the way, like, it's not as bad now, but guess what? You still get the nerves. Like, there's a lot of money on the line on these decisions, right? And sometimes you're not confident. It's just like any slate. Like, you just might not have a good feel for the slate. And it's just like, oh, guess what? Like, you have a lot of money on the line. Like, figure it out. I mean, my first ever live final, I played Chalk Tim Frazier when he was with the 76ers. Okay, like, it was bad. It was bad. Like, the first ever time, like, it was just a pure donation. But I know that when I enter a queue, it's like, okay, well, 20 to 25% of the field is going to have that experience, right? So it's rake free. You have 20% of the field that's probably dead from the moment they show up. And it's just like, it's a really good value. So, I mean, and then you have the experience, which is just awesome in itself. But yeah, so I try to get into as many because it's just I think it's one of the better edges left out there in DFS, to be honest.
Fair enough. Talk to me about the experiences of a live final, and talk to me about how it's changed between back when you were first going and maybe more the more recent ones.
You know, it's funny. Like, outside of like one in particular, they've pretty much stayed about the same. You know, the kind of what DraftKings does has really stayed the same. There was one that was pretty kind of just blah, but I kind of knew it was gonna be blah going into it. You know, you can just look at the prize pools and just be like, I know this is gonna be a pretty blah weekend. Yeah, so basically you fly in. It's part of the travel package. You get $1,000 for flights. I personally, a lot of people I know just pocket the money and pay coach. For me, it's not my style. I fly out in first class. I use a bunch of that $1,000 stipend.
Is the Seige bougie? Are you bougie, bro? Are you like a bougie dude? Like, you just want to, just cut loose and really do it up? Like, is that like?
No, I mean, I could, but like on the plane, I just kind of like to relax, right? I just know it's gonna be a stressful weekend. I want to have some room. I'm a big guy, so I just kind of like to chill. So I normally use the stipend to fly first class, and then you get there, just Uber, or once in a while they had a car, but most of the time it was Uber. When they had the car, it was pretty cool. I have to admit, that was pretty cool. Like, having like your tag, like your name there. It's like Kaltenbach. It's like, all right, I gotta admit, that was kind of cool. First time, I'm the guy who's just like, hey, can I borrow that tag and just steal it and put it in my bag real quick? Because this will never happen to me again.
Yeah, right.
And then, they take you to the hotel, check in. It's super nice, wherever it is, ranging from the W to Lowe's to I'm trying to think of where the one in the Hard Rock in San Diego is the best, personally. That's probably my favorite fly final location. A lot of different companies have used it too. FanDuel's used it, DraftKings used it, Aces used it. It's a fantastic live final spot. Personally, it's probably my favorite of the bunch. Trying to think if I enjoy that more than Miami, but probably, yeah. San Diego's really a really good final spot. So you check in. They normally do a welcome event. Depending on the event, there was one event where you got like this name tag and like you could just get free drinks all weekend. Shockingly, that was one and done. I can't imagine why. That was a good one. But like normally, realistically, if you're hanging out with the DraftKings guys, you don't really pay for a whole lot there in the alcohol department. So you just hang out, you meet people the first night, and then the second night they normally take you to a game. So whatever. Like last year's FanDuel final was great. It was the Red Sox were in San Diego. That's why I was just like, well, I'm investing all this money because I want to go on this trip anyways. My Red Sox in San Diego sounds great. So they take you to a game normally. the second night, and then Saturday. They don't have finals normally start on Thursday. The finals on Saturday, and then Saturday night's the final experience. They normally rent out a bar, and then they put on all the games and they get the scores, and people are just chilling and talking. Once they finally realize they're gonna lose, like the first hour, like no one talks to each other because they're just like staring at the TVs, like come on.
Ugh.
And then like they realize that they're not gonna win, and they're just like, all right, fine, let's go back to the bar and chill and talk, and then sometimes they do a night event, but honestly, like after the live finals, people are normally done. Yeah. every time they do an event for the live final, I put it in the comment sheet like, don't bother.
When people typically go in, like you could probably tell who's never been to one of these before when they walk in the door. Like, all right.
It's funny. I judged one time. The first final I was in, I judged. It was the one that the grandmother won. I think it was P Miles. I remember turning to my +1 and going, "That's one person down." I remember doing it. I did it. I said it. And just completely ran. It's not only beat the field, like lapped the field. It was funny. Like she had to learn NBA. She had qualified in football for the NBA final too.
Wow.
She had to learn NBA and just lapped the field. Like just lapped it. It was
a grandma?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It was at the mansion too. I was just like, the pictures were just hilarious. I'm just sitting there laughing. Like, this is hilarious.
That's so funny. Now. And you had crossed her off.
Oh yeah. That's what I learned. You can basically cross people off, but you never know. Like it's one day in fantasy, right? You never know.
But like when people that have never been there before, like say I don't know, like young gentleman walks in, anywhere from like 22 to 35 or something like that, walks in. Are those guys like, do they walk in with some, like you see dudes walk in with this like attitude on their face because they're taking this shit mad serious and this is like their one like opportunity?
Oh no, see, that never happens. Like,
you don't see that?
I know those people. The people that are taking it serious, I probably know.
Yeah.
Like it's like the people that you can just cross off are the people that are just like hanging up by the bar, like drinking it up and like, I made it. This is great. And it's just like, all right, you're not gonna do the work required. All right. Like, but again, it's one day, anything can happen, right? But mentally, you're just kind of like, okay, like good. Like there's still some softer spots in this field.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be weird at one of those things, man. It sounds like a cool experience. Don't get me wrong.
There's some, and then of course there's just a lot of things that aren't official. People hanging out and doing stuff. It's a ton of
yeah.
The last FanDuel final was cool. They did the last two FanDuel finals I went to were cool. The Miami one almost was the end of me. They got Flo Rida on a boat in April, and it was just a hot day. It was like 92 degrees, and I was just, I really never recovered from the boat. And then I tried to enjoy Sunday by the pool, and that didn't work out very well because the FanDuel guy was still there. Didn't work out very well for me. I ended up like getting an IV before that day. So. Yeah, I was trying to take a relaxing day by the pool, like have a couple beers and then go get a late dinner because I hadn't eaten, and then. Yeah, that didn't happen.
Damn, bro. You're just like, you don't even give a fuck, man. You are definitely.
The concert was good. I mean, I should have realized how dehydrated I was from the day before and just chilled, but I was trying to do a pool day. I was trying to be chill. It was just like a couple beers, water, chill by the pool on a Sunday instead of flying back. It'll be great.
I think.
And then, yeah.
I think the kids would tell you have no chill. I think that's what that means. I think I finally understand what they mean when they say that. Because you tried to chill, and you couldn't. You couldn't even chill.
I mean, in my defense, I was fine until the FanDuel rep showed up.
Oh, God. That's wild. That's so funny, man. But I understand it, though. I mean, I do. I mean, so the situation that, like, just to pause for a recap, I'm going to ask you a couple more about left finals. But, so there you are. You're about to, you're in the midst of getting your law degree, going into, like, a career of lawyerism or lawyerhood, whatever you want to call it. And then you're dabbling in DFS, having success, realizing this is obviously much more easier of a living if I can make this work. And, you get red fucking hot. Boom, boom, boom. It's live final city. So this is like an extension of college for you at this point. You're just living it up. Going to all these live finals, doing it big, going on a fucking boat with Flo Rida. Like, that's wild.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty recent. But yeah, like it was... Yeah, that was... It was a, I mean, I think he kind of knew that it was kind of like it wasn't going to always be that easy, but, in the moment, you're just like, I knew I could do this. Like, the confidence definitely was through the roof. It was sky high. It's just like,
At that,
I mean, it's just like it just couldn't do it. And it was in between there. It was just destroying college football. I mean, college football was just. I mean, it was me and Ram, and it was just like the same three people at the top of the leaderboards every week. It was just domination. This was before people realized you just stacked the Big 12 basically every week. It was just stacked. It was just like TCU, Texas Tech, although that led to a very bad story at my buddy's wedding. Oh, boy, that's probably the worst beat I've taken in DFS. I'm trying to think if there's one I've taken worse than that one. Now we can come back to it, but college football was fantastic when it was across the. It was fantastic. It really was. Now it's like a little tougher because people have gotten better at it, and the games are kind of just not that great. Like they choose like Alabama every week, and it's like, well, Alabama's playing some junk team. Like there's a lot more variance in it. But back when it was good, great.
Glory days. It sounds like it, man. I didn't get into.
Oh, I am definitely feeling nostalgic right now. Like. I would do just about anything to bring back 2015 college football, like just the way the game was being played, like the games they would choose, like just sign me up.
Oh, wild.
And by the way, I think if you asked any DFS player that was like playing back then, like what sport they would like to have back, like I bet you college football would be in the majority of players. Like it was just of the top players, like it was just that easy.
Oh man, dude,
and the sweat's awesome. People are always running up and down the field. It's fun to sweat. Like,
Oh man, college football was before I got into DFS, I was really into the sports betting stuff. The problem is at the time it just wasn't legal everywhere, so it was just a pain in the ass for me to get anything legitimate going from it. But like I had spent like countless like amount of time like researching and understanding it, and college football and college basketball were really where I found the strongest edge because, like you said, a lot of people don't realize these conferences. They don't understand who's good at what. Or how good relative, like you see it in the bowls with all the upsets. People just assume this conference better than this conference. They don't understand the mismatches. A lot of different things you can take advantage of. And in the betting markets, I loved it. But I'm talking about like doubling my money at night. If I known about at that time about DraftKings, because I knew I had the knowledge of the football, and if I just like had an opportunity to get into that window, and like listen. I would have to know what I know now, which I didn't when I first started playing. So I'm not saying that like, oh yeah, I could have been one of those guys if I was there earlier. But just in general, man, like the way I always hear people talk about those times, it's like the Wild West, bro. It reminds me of like, the Wolves of Wall Street type days, man, where anything kind of went. And it was just like, you know what I mean? Like it always sounds cool, man. I got in a little too late for that. When I got in, it was like, I was just another fish that came in fucking late. But shit sounds good, man. So talk to me about the live finals again. What would you say was the best live final experience? Like, what was your best experience? It can't be the floor rider because of how shitty you felt the next day, could it?
Oh man, it was bad. Like he had just opened a club and we had a booth and I left. Like I was just dead. That one was pretty good though. It's definitely in the top 3 if it's not number 1. Just like thinking about the other things we did that weekend, that was pretty good. The best live final though. Man, I'm gonna piss someone off with this answer too. I gotta be honest. The Aces yachts were pretty good.
Fancy Aces.
The yachts were pretty good. They would take you out on the boat. That was pretty dope.
Yeah.
The best one though. It might have been the FanDuel baseball one 2 years ago. Was pretty good. Last year's was pretty good too. I just didn't have a good. I changed my strategy during the draft. I was doing the snake draft, and I changed my strategy during it, and that was like a $40,000 mistake. So that was a mistake. I probably should have just not had any drinks until the draft, but I didn't want to miss the pool party. So that one was probably the best. Actually, that's not true. It was the Aces basketball one where, and it wasn't even a good final for me. It was the night before the final. I won like $125K in basketball, on the yacht. And Draft Cheat was talking shit. I was like, if you didn't play Klay Thompson today at 2%, like you've lost your mind. And Draft Cheat's like, screenshot or else. And he was on the way out to San Diego and he was stuck in a middle seat. He thought his flight was 7 a.m. and it was 7 p.m. So he'd been at the airport all day. And so So then he's just like screenshot, and so I ended up winning like all the money. And so I just quote tweeted the screenshot with like just like I had played like 2 teams and I won like everything. So I just posted a screenshot and I just put like this with a question mark. And yeah, he apparently went just kind of crazy on the plane. And we went out afterwards, and so we told him to meet us. He hadn't eaten, ended up trying to hair the dog it, and then overslept lock.
Oh my
and
god!
Had a guy with a zero get scratched.
Holy
so
fuck.
That's probably my favorite finals moment is being like 20% responsible for DC oversleeping lock.
So your best finals moment was DC
that was a pretty,
just like sucking ass.
And I had a monster night too, so like that was a pretty good.
It was the combination.
I don't know if it had anything to do with like the event, but it's the one I remember the most.
It was the combination of you doing really well and at the same time getting to tell him to eat shit. That's the combination, right? Because he had a shitty experience.
The worst one was when Chandler Parsons tore his hamstring when I was going to win $1 million. It was the week before too. The week before would definitely be the worst life final experience too. So there was like a polar opposites between the weekends.
That's wild, bro. So where was the worst one located?
The worst one, Springfield, Massachusetts. Sorry, FanDuel.
Oh, Springfield, Massachusetts. So that's close to.
That's the Hall of Fame, no doubt.
Right.
Sorry, DraftKings. Sorry, FanDuel, but that one's totally out.
And so that was the worst one. So the best one was where?
All the San Diego ones are good. The Miami ones are good.
No,
too,
I mean the one with DC the week later. You went from Massachusetts, then you went to.
Oh no! So the week before was the DraftKings final. That was like the worst beat I took in a live final. Like I had a full-on game stack of Dallas and Golden State unowned. It was like a 2-point game. Parsons tears his hamstring, and I lose by like 15 points and get like no fourth quarter from a 4-man.
Brutal.
Yeah, that one sucked. But that was the week before the Aces final. So like I hadn't left San Diego, so it was just like.
So you just spent the whole week in San Diego. Wow.
I wasn't gonna fly home and then fly back.
No. If they both were in the same spot, then that's.
It was literally the same hotel, so I was just like.
Because that's what I was thinking. Like I was a military brat growing up, so I moved around a lot, and we lived in Germany for 3. I had 9 years of my childhood lived in Germany, an army base. So like flying home every summer to the United States to go see family. I hate flying. I hate traveling. I get sick when I travel too, man. I go to San Diego. I'm like I said.
I love flying.
I'm in New Jersey. I'll fly to San Diego and get sick somehow in San Diego. I'll catch a cold in San Diego. I'll leave the cold weather, go to the warm weather, and somehow catch a cold, all the time. But like, so like I'm picturing in my head. I know that like you've had a lot of these situations where you had FanDuel here this week, DraftKings is next week. One place is on this coast, next place is on this coast, and all that kind of shit.
Normally they correlate, so they normally don't do that. Normally it's like same side of the country.
Okay. So they without saying it, kind of work together to make sure they don't destroy.
Because they want people to go. Yeah. Like last year, like for football, they had like FanDuel was somewhere, or 2 years ago, FanDuel was like New York and DK was Miami for football, and I was just like, Miami, New York in December. Let me think about this one. Miami. Hey, what do you know? And like no one went to the FanDuel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then they ran it back with like Puerto Rico, and I think DraftKings was like Miami, and it's just like you're still not going to get anyone.
Oh man, that's wild. It's hard to beat Miami, man. It really is.
Maybe FanDuel this year will just give up on doing the football final the same week as DraftKings. Like you're gonna lose every time. Just give up.
It doesn't make sense to go ahead. I don't think it makes sense to go ahead. You don't have.
They used to do them on different weekends. Yeah. It was great.
That makes more sense. There's plenty of like there's room.
I get it. You want to have like you want to do it the week before Christmas, but just do it 2 weeks before. You'll be fine.
That's it.
I promise.
That's it. It doesn't make any. Why would they try to do it? That's stupid.
I don't know. A lot of the FanDuel decision making you could just say is stupid. So
yeah, fair enough.
They're really not going to like me now.
So what's the deal with so speaking of DC? So you guys like obviously there was the time where you guys were supposed to have the boxing match, and like you guys always go back and forth blocking each other on Twitter. Like, are you guys like cool? And it's just like an ongoing work, as we would say in the wrestling industry, Or do you guys like? Is it like a competitive thing? Do you guys really not like each other? 'Cause, like, I don't know
Depends on the day you
DC.
ask
I
me.
don't know DC.
Depends on the day you ask me.
That's a good answer. I would believe that because it seems like a love hate kind of situation. I don't know DC personally, but I can't tell. Like on Twitter, he's hilarious on Twitter. I have no idea when does he ever say anything serious? Does he ever mean anything he says? Or is literally everything that comes out of his
The
mouth?
coronavirus was the one thing I think he was dead serious about.
Yeah.
That's the only time he's been serious that I'm aware of.
I can't tell anymore. When he tweets, I just assume everything's a joke.
Well, I mean, he also was like we're recording this on Monday, and he was just like, "I'm gonna get off Twitter for a while," and like,
definitely
I don't know
joking.
if he's actually
no way. I don't believe it because everything he says has got to be a joke. There's no way.
Hasn't tweeted since. That was 13 hours ago, so we'll see.
13 hours ago? Somebody should check on him.
I know. I think he's okay. I think I've seen him in a group chat. I should double check.
Yeah, double check. Again, I don't know him, but just from what I know of him, obviously I know people who do know him, who've met him, whatever. And from what I know of, and I mean, even just going through history and reading through his stuff, I have no idea. I laugh most of the time when he tweets. I do find him funny. Very, very funny guy. I just can't tell. Maybe that's why I think he's so funny, because I just assume everything he says is a joke. But I know you guys had that, that old back and forth thing going on. It was pretty funny for a while. So is he like a lot of these? Was Roto Grinders, when you got in with them, was that like the first, like as far as starting to give advice, starting to create content for daily fantasy sports? You went to that fantasy sports conference. You started meeting people. Is that in essence what?
I had worked for Smiz's boot camp before.
Okay.
So Smiz was the one that kind of hooked me up with the RG people. I was moving on from boot camp one way or another at that point because I had just been so hot, right? Was in a little bit of demand, I'll just say. So at that point, I kind of was going to do something. And then during that conference, he hooked me up with the RG people. And the rest, they say, is history.
Oh, shit. That's wild, man. You were with them for a while. That was the first time I see you. I stumbled across Roto Grinders. And you were doing a lot. You were doing the First Look podcast, which for me was cool. You used to do it with Stevie. That was cool for me because I would go to the gym in the morning, some shit like that, and give me something to listen to, when I first started like kind of playing and I first came into daily fantasy sports. Well, really, because like you get into it and then there's discovering the content. Like, oh shit, there's actually content on this stuff. Because for the first month or two I'm playing, I'm just using my sports betting knowledge. I think this team's gonna win, so I'm gonna take these players. Like, I'm not really understanding all the advanced analytics as well. I'm more going off probabilities. I'm more going off looking at the odds, looking at the public. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. Not as heavy on the statistical side of each individual player performance. So it was definitely like different. So then after a couple months, you start realizing, holy shit, there's people out there who are actually teaching everybody how to play and actually showing you like how to understand these statistics and all these kind of things. So I saw you a lot at that point. What's next? Like, what's next? I know you dabbled. You had the Arbor. You're obviously the Arbor Pro. You were recently with Fantasy Cruncher, and my understanding is you're onto different things. There's always something next. Do you know what's next? I mean, literally, you've had 2 days to think about this.
No, it's been longer.
Okay,
than that. Let's see. What the hell? It's 5 days.
Okay.
So, no, I have no idea what's next. I'm gonna talk to people, obviously. I just don't have any plans. I'm kind of just gonna. I kind of wanted to take a week, just chill, kind of just. People don't understand that it's just like every day, right? It's just every day. You're always just working, right? And so this, I personally like the coronavirus. This break has been really nice because I just haven't had like a break. And you take a vacation, but it's not really a vacation. Like, I had tournament tactics. Like, I wasn't really on vacation. Like, you're always paying attention to league. You can't just take 2 weeks off. Like, forget it. You're gonna be like, who the hell is this guy playing 30 minutes a day for the Bulls? Like, forget it. Like, you have no chance, right? It'll take you a week and a half to get back into it if you miss 2 weeks. So it's been a nice brain reset, and so definitely gonna take advantage of that. And then I'll figure it out one way or another. There's options, I'm sure. There always are. Could always take a legal job too. That's not out of the question, I don't think. And then just do some of this stuff on the side. I think that's probably more realistic this time than the other times. But kind of just got to see what the options are. And, during Corona is probably not the best time to make a decision either. So probably just gonna wait this one out. I'm in a good position where I can do that. So just probably just going to chill and see what happens.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I do agree with you in that. Like, since I've done this, and like I I used to be a relationship banker, is what they call it. Yeah, I had my licenses, all that kind of stuff. And, ditching that to come and deciding to do the content stuff full time. I understand it, bro. Every single day, like you said. Like, you can't, even if you take a day where maybe you don't even want to play personally, if you're doing the content every day and you actually give a shit and you actually care about the content you're doing, you still got to keep tabs on what's going on. And, like, bro, it's at a point where it's like, I spend all day, like, researching for, a slate or whatever the case is. And it doesn't have to take me that long. It's just more like, the competitive drive in you, right? Like a lot of people, people that like sports like DFS, because DFS is a sport. It's like its own sport, and it's a game at the very least. People enjoy playing it, and there's a competitive thing to it. You want to find that low owned motherfucker that hit 3 home runs or triple doubled, and there's like it's like the competitive part, regardless of the money. Obviously, the money makes a big difference, and the money is what makes it what it is. But I get it, man. Taking some time to reset. I know for me, it's like I needed to find. Like, I'm finding other things to do to fill my time. Like, it worked out well. I was able to get some website stuff done that I don't usually have time for. Sit down and kind of think of new ideas of how I could be creative. Because there's a certain company who just came in and just dominated YouTube. You know what I mean? So with everything said, it's just like I kind of understand. Obviously, it's fucked up that this is what it takes to get one of those breaks, a fucking world pandemic, a global pandemic. But at the same time, I also believe in making the most of whatever opportunity you get and trying to look at things as optimistically as you can. So I'm with you. Like, we are in this break. The break is here. So we might as well do what we got to do to take advantage of whatever it is that we're getting. And right now, that's some time off for a lot of us. Get some time to just kind of recollect. I've been diving into fucking esports, bro. I'm like balls deep in League of Legends.
No.
I'm balls deep in it, bro. Bro, you don't even know. I'm balls deep in that shit. It's crazy. I'm me in that shit, man. I'm throwing like 250 teams a night into that shit, man.
Outlaw golf, we can talk, but no.
Bro, it's wild.
I guess it's weird to be more into the guys that are making less than you are in the tournament, but I don't care. No.
It's true. That is fucking true. That's crazy. But though the League of Legends shit is crazy, man. And like, I don't want to. I actually understand it.
I promised myself I was not doing it. I promised myself I am staying out. No,
bro, I got you, bro.
It's so rigged. No way.
Listen,
no.
$29.99 a month, and I got you, Siege.
No way. No way. Out. I am not doing esports. You will not find me in esports content. Absolutely not. Nope.
Oh, well,
no.
That's the beauty of it, man. I don't see a ton of names that I recognize in these contests.
iRacing, Outlaw Golf, fine. No on esports. I just can't do it. I tried. I really tried. I just can't.
What's with the?
I watched a couple of those matches till like 4 a.m. I just can't do it. Bro. I can't do it.
Bro, there's nothing like waking up in the morning. And bro, I'm telling you, it's like it's pretty. I'm not trying to persuade you. Shit, I don't want nobody else playing this shit.
Trust me. There's no chance you're gonna persuade me. I am dead fat. I am dead set. I am not doing esports.
That's great news for me.
I would rather just keep researching baseball because no one's done any research. You can tell when people are just talking baseball on Twitter, talking football. You can tell people haven't done any research. I'm just gonna get ready for one of those because when we get all the sports back. Good luck having people trying to figure out NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB all at the same time. Have fun with that after you've been dabbling in esports for 2 months. Have fun.
What's your best guess at when sports resume?
I think as much as I hate to admit DC's right, I think he's right that July 4th for baseball makes the most.
July 4th.
I think that makes
sense. That's usually when they do the All-Star
break. We might get it a little earlier than that. But I think July 4th, just for all the sentimental reasons, makes a ton of sense.
What about basketball? Do you think they do come back?
I think they're going to start soon. I've been hearing that they're going to start soon. I would guess late May, early June.
No shit.
Look, we just can't keep the world shut. There's too much money involved. Like, there's just too... Look, as much as you want to be responsible and you stay socially distanced and all that, end of the day, there's billions of dollars with a B on the line, right? At some point, the leagues are going to have to just go to the players and be like, look, either we all lose this billions of dollars or we suck it up and we take on this risk. And I think at the end of the day, they're going to take on the risk.
That's really what it comes down to, right?
I just think the players are going to take on the risk. It's just too much money to pay. It's just too much money. And maybe that's sad. And by the way, you know how you say like, you would do certain things for $1 million? I would risk getting the coronavirus for $1 million. And I have to imagine there are a lot of players that feel the same way.
That's kind of like for instance, so they had that idea with baseball, right, where everybody's going to go to Arizona. I know they've talked about something else now where they do it out of Florida and Arizona and whatever, but apparently a lot of the players said no because they didn't want to be away from their families. And I understand because that's kind of priceless shit. You got families, you got kids, you're growing up, and you're missing all this shit. I get that, but at the same time, again, there's a reason that as an athlete you get paid millions of dollars. Right? It's because your life, the demands of your life are different than the demands of a regular person's life. You know what I'm saying? Like regular person, like for instance, Kyle Larson, right? Who went out there and said he dropped the N-bomb on the iRacing thing. He's done, right? If Joe Schmo...
He's done for now. He won't.
If Joe Schmo at Walmart says some shit like that on his Twitter, nobody gives a fuck. Walmart's not going to fire him. Not unless, there's some crazy shit going on behind it. But, like, obviously, he's a racer. He's a public figure. He made a decision. Can't say shit like that. Can't fucking do that. There's a reason you get paid a lot of fucking money. And part of that responsibility is to not say shit like that, man. Can't be like that. Especially not in this day and age.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's part of it. It's a similar situation, man. It's the Rona. You got grocery store workers who are getting paid fucking $13 an hour who have no choice but to work or they're going to be broke. And you're $1 million athlete and you're afraid to go into an empty arena. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I'm not judging them. I don't want to catch it. I
mean, I think now it's more a public opinion thing than an actual coronavirus thing.
Yeah.
Like, I think if a league could reopen without the PR hit, I think someone would do it.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because, like, again, like, I don't necessarily know if it's like for the players, like if they're...
I mean, just look at these protests, right, which are stupid. Yeah. But, like, just the outrage of the protests, right? The outrage of Jacksonville opening up the beach, right? That's the league's problem, not actually the coronavirus at this point.
A lot of it has to do with perception of the public, how people would look at them. I agree that a lot of the decisions are made. Like, you can't say this decision was made by this commissioner, therefore these are the views of the commissioner. Because I think it's more so the commissioner being concerned on what the public is going to think of the league and having to react accordingly, right? Like,
right, and golf's going to start mid-June, and I think that's probably right. And then I think everyone else is going to follow. And I think people are going to wait till like May 1. I think come May 1, you're going to see a lot of announcements.
Yeah.
Right? I think you're going to see a lot of, okay, we're going to start end of May, early June.
Yeah.
I think that's, and by the way, when one league does it, all the others are immediately going to.
Agreed. Yeah. Well,
post NFL draft, I think is when you're going to start seeing that stuff.
Yeah. No, that would be the perfect time to do it, right? Because you got the NFL draft to keep everybody occupied. And, like, do you think, like, here's a whole other question. I would assume if they're going to start everything up so soon, they're going to be doing the empty arena thing. We've been seeing, like, Korea baseball started. They're doing the empty arena thing. Guys aren't wearing masks. They're, like, people are celebrating and giving high fives and stuff and hugging each other. So it seems like, they're just kind of going in, empty arena status. When do you think, they're saying we may not have a vaccination for, like, a year and a half. At what point can fans go to watch a game? And by the time that happens... Do you think the league makes it so, like a TV makes it so appealing to watch a game on TV that people are just like, fuck it? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
It's hard to imagine right?
I don't see that happening.
It's very, very hard to imagine that. But the way, like, maybe not now. But if you think about it, man, like we were talking about this the other day. I forgot who the fuck I was talking about this with. But we were talking about virtual reality and shit. You can sit on your couch, wear a fucking helmet, and feel like
you're at the game. It's not the same. It's not the same. People are gonna always go to concerts. They're gonna go to games. Let's not overreact. People are gonna go to concerts. They're gonna go to games.
Listen, I love people, as in I don't wish any harm on people. I want people to live their lives for whoever they are, but like I don't want them around me at the same time. I like personal space. I don't like I don't know. I don't like the...
People like going to a baseball game. People love chilling out. People love going to football games. They love tailgating. That's not going away. That's not...
But there are so many inconveniences, bro. Sitting in the fucking traffic, right? When I go to a fucking Met game and I want to drive to fucking Queens.
You're in New York. See, it's different. It's going to be different in New York than everywhere else.
I mean?
It's going to be different in New York than everywhere else. Like, you guys have gotten, like, smacked around like this like no one else has, right? So, like, New York's going to have now, if you're telling me in New York people don't go to games, I think that's different, right? Because you guys have a ton of traffic.
It's a nightmare, yeah.
But
yeah.
Well, I think it's different there than, like, let's just say in, like, 90% of the country,
okay.
Right? Because, like, you guys are getting the absolute brunt of this, and it's been almost war zone-like. It's not been like that everywhere else. So Like, I don't think the return to normalcy is going to take as long
elsewhere.
here as it would say there.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. That makes sense. I just think personally, man, like when I think about going to, I've been to a bunch of games and I've had the privilege of doing some cool stuff at the stadiums. You know, hanging out. I got to meet Darrell Revis in his suite at MetLife. Oh, that wasn't MetLife Stadium yet. It was Giant Stadium at the time. But anyway, I got to watch a game with his family, you know, in the suite. It was cool. It's had some cool experiences. But the whole process always sucks. And you're right. It is probably because I'm in the New Jersey, New York area. When I want to go to a game, I'm going to a Met game, right? I'm going fucking on to Van Wyck and all this shit nonstop going through New York, right? Even going to a Jet game, I got to go to North Jersey. It's fucking crazy. On rush hour, fucking crazy.
Well, I mean, the Jets are awful. Don't get me started. I've been going off on them on Twitter the last 24
Hey,
hours.
man, they're awful, but they're my
And Jets
awful.
fans are just as delusional as usual.
Oh, bro, you can't remain a Jet fan and not be delusional. I'm telling you this from experience. I'm a Met, Jet, and Knick fan, bro. You know what I'm saying?
You can just tell, like, the way the Jet fans are holding on to hope that they can get real value for Jamal Adams is just so cute.
Nah, yeah. I got no comment on that situation. I just want the Jets to sign him and lock him down. That's the only thing I want him. I want them to do. That's the only thing I want them to do. I appreciate, as a Jet fan, knowing that who we are and knowing the lack of like star power we may have elsewhere. We need those emotional leader type players. We need those guys mean a lot more right now, especially when you got a guy like Sam Darnold who doesn't seem particularly vocal. You know what I mean? You kind of need somebody to step in here and take all the attention off the other players. Let the media focus on that one guy. Let him be the asshole. It takes a lot of pressure off a lot of the other guys, man, who are trying to develop.
The Jets should be trading everyone. They should trade Jamal. They should trade Sam Darnold. Go into the tank right now.
Oh my gosh, what is this?
Tank it up.
Yeah, you see.
Have you seen your schedule? You guys might be favored in 2 games.
I did hear that. I did hear we are scheduled in 2 games.
It's brutal,
bro. I don't know, man.
Pats fan, ours is bad too.
I really don't think I don't think the Jets are as bad as their record indicated last year, man.
They're
bro.
bad.
We had
they're bad. Give it up.
I don't think so. I really don't, man. I really don't.
They're bad. Well, here, other than I put this in a really good tweet yesterday. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Jets fans are delusional. This was the tweet that got people mad. Other than being, they are bad at wide receiver, tight end, offensive line, defensive line, linebacker, and corner, all while playing the second hardest schedule in the league.
It's gonna be. Listen, do I think my Jets are going to the top? Is it their year to get to? You know.
Here's the problem: if you don't trade Jamal Adams and Sam Darnold now, when you guys get the first pick next year or the second pick, and you take Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence, you're not going to get anywhere near the value you're going to get right now.
Yeah, but
just be smart. Tank it up.
Bro, no way. No fucking way. No fucking way.
This is why I love having the Jets in my division.
Way. This is wild.
This is why I love having the Jets in my division.
Talk to me about your boys, though. Talk to me about the Patriots. Brady.
Jarrett Stidham season, baby.
Brady. Was that a heartbreaker for you? Did that hurt?
Nope. Stidham time. Let's go.
No, you were done. You were just done with him.
Brady was done. He was washed.
You're just done.
Stidham season.
Wow. Brutal. But hey, you're a lawyer. I mean, I get it.
Stidham season. That's fine. He ruined Tampa. Other than that, that's fine. Like Jameis in Tampa would have been great, but whatever.
He ruined Tampa. Ready to rock, man. Stidham all the way.
I'm ready to go. Jarrett Stidham. He's either gonna be really good or really bad, and if he's really bad, then we get Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence. So let's go. 16 games of Stidham. Let's find out what we got.
Wow, no shit. You think he's got what it takes, or what?
I mean, he was ranked higher than Kyler Murray, Sam Darnold in that recruiting class. He's had super talent. He had one bad year in college, and everyone's written him off.
That's so wild.
He was the #1 quarterback recruit in that class.
So, like, is it gonna be? It's not gonna be weird for you. It's not even gonna be weird at all for you to see Brady in a different uniform. It's not gonna be like anything that's
But he ruins Tampa. I'm gonna be sad.
Yeah.
Because Tampa was just so much fun for DFS glory and goodness, and Chris Godwin was like one of my highest owned players in best balls in season long league last year. It's gonna be sad watching him ruin them, but other than that, I'll be fine.
As a Jet fan, like I'm happy to see.
I'm proud the Patriots made a decision that most organizations would be afraid to make.
Yeah.
Most organizations would be afraid to let Brady go. I'm proud we made the right decision. By the way, it might have been 2 years late. We probably should have kept Jimmy G and traded Brady when Bill Belichick wanted to do it.
Yeah, to be honest with you.
Like, Belichick was probably right 2 years ago.
Yeah, no. I mean,
I know we won a Super Bowl since then, so it's really weird to say that. But let's be real, the Rams were just kind of bad. So, I'm proud of Bill on this one. I think he made a really good decision. And I just hope we don't draft a quarterback in the first round. Let's be smart. Let's just build up our weapons base, and then if Stidham's good, great. If not, we can get ourselves into the Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields sweepstakes.
I always like get a little. I agree with you that with Brady, I agree it was time to move on. Clearly, not the same guy physically, right? He's trying to do the Peyton Manning thing, right? You remember Peyton Manning changed his whole style of play when he played for the Broncos. Everything looked different. He looked slower.
It's not gonna work. Brady's done.
And
he's done.
And it's just like, so I agree that was the move for the Patriots to start. Like, it's time to move on, right? It's probably been that way, like you said, the last couple of years. But I always get a little upset. So I don't get upset at the organization because they got to do what's right for the fans and they got to keep a winning organization. Because the minute the Patriots start losing, people are going to be pissed. Patriot fans are going to be pissed. I mean, knocking on the fucking door at the stadium. So I get a little upset when the player doesn't quite know when to hang it up, man. Like, you don't need this. Like, you don't need this. You've got the best. Like, you're like you can leave right now and be considered like the Michael fucking Jordan of football, you know? Like, why? Just to play a couple years in Tampa? Like, why? Like, for a little bit of pride because you just want to show you can do it without Bill. Who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? Who really gives a fuck? Did you see his interview with Howard Stern? Did you hear it?
No, I didn't bother. I knew what it was going to be.
Bro, cold-blooded, bro. Wow. I
mean, Bill Belichick basically said, you suck. Get out of here.
So you're Bill. You're like, yeah, how about you, Bill? Fuck it, Brady. You suck. Get the fuck out of here.
I don't blame Brady for being just as cold back, right?
Yeah, no, of course. But
it was respectful, but cold. Like, I'm cool with that. Like,
yeah. And he, like, on the interview, just so you know, anything he said about the Patriots and Belichick was all like A+ shit. He didn't get, not that you thought he would get petty. It's fucking Tom Brady. He doesn't need to get petty, but Tom Brady kind of seems like a weird dude. You strike you as a weird dude? He strikes me as a weird dude.
I'm ready to see the Pats offense without Brady. Yeah. Like, I'm ready to see N'Keal Harry like with a real quarterback. Like, that will just throw the ball.
That'll be interesting.
I'm hoping we can find a tight end. Like, that's why I'm saying just get us some skill players. Yeah. It's a good skill player draft. Let's get some skill players around Stidham, see what we got.
Yeah.
We've got a good line. Our defense is really good. Let's go get some offensive playmakers and see what we can do.
Dude.
And if it blows up, then great. We go 2-14 and get one of the stud quarterbacks, and then we're back. So,
one thing I'm walking away from our conversation today is you are definitely an optimist, and I like that. You consider yourself an optimistic person?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, man.
But I mean, like, the worst thing they got for the Pats is go 8-8. Like, just for the love of God, Stidham, either be really good or really bad.
Yeah.
That's all I want. Be really good or really, really bad. Yeah. I just need you to be on an end. Don't do a Jameis and go like 8-8. That'd be just a disaster.
Yeah. Life is a GPP, man. First to last, Ricky Bobby style.
First or last. That's especially in sports like this. When you try to be in the middle, you're just done for a decade.
Nobody fucking remembers the mediocre motherfuckers.
And you can't improve being in the middle. Like, you just can't improve being in the middle.
No, being average sucks, right? Pretty much. Nobody wants to be fucking average. It's whack. Anyway, man, this was fun, man. I appreciate you coming on. Like I said, it was my first time doing something like this. I just figured, why not, man? Like, I want to meet more people in the industry and have conversations. And so I reached out to UC to see if you come on because, like I said, we have a mutual friend. I've had a conversation with you before. Like, let me reach out and see. And hopefully I can get some other people on here and we can do more of the same, at least until sports comes back, bro. Because I got, I just don't want people to, like, I don't want the industry or anything to lose steam. Like, things were heading in my opinion, as a DFS, like, somebody reliant on the industry. I was pretty happy with things were going, man. Contests were looking healthy. The prize pools looking beautiful. And, I would hate to see that reset. Go back to square one with all this madness going on.
Yeah. All right, man. It's been great, man.
Yeah. So for the C's, for myself, the entire White Tech Nation, as always, good luck.